Good day, good day. Welcome to The Enemy Within, Class 2. Today, I'm your instructor, Dr. B. Sirius. Good day to you all. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Get your thinking caps on. Get something to write with. Get some water. Get ready. Aim and elevate. Close your eyes and relax for just a second. And listen to the medicine music as it prepares your mind for new information. And breathe. Take some deep cleansing breaths. Inhaling new energy. Exhaling old energies. You're listening to a track called I Am Home. Which is on the soundtrack, the medicine music soundtrack, which is at elevationtime.com. This music is tuned to specific frequencies that help expand the mind and connect the mind, the body, the spirit to the cosmos and bring heaven to earth. So that's at elevationtime.com. That one's called I Am Home. Actually, when you go there to elevationtime.com and you go to medicine music, you can buy the whole project in its entirety. I'd like to say good day to all of those who are here again for Class 2, The Enemy Within. Securing the territory, fortifying the body, mind against invaders. Is there anybody here? Is this your first class? Is anybody here for the first time? I would love to see that in the chat. Also, let us know how you heard about this. One of the radio shows, did you hear about it from TikTok, IG, Facebook, a friend, one of the platforms that we've been on lately. Let us know how you got here, or let us know where you are. First, I'd like to ask, is it okay that I share information that may be new to you? Something you may not have heard before? Is that okay? And is it okay if we might make this a little fun and a little entertaining? Because it's a pretty deep subject. And is it okay that if we say some things and talk about some things and highlight some things that may agitate you? Just know that I am not a medical doctor. I haven't been trained by any of the three-letter organizations or joined up with any of their systems of teaching. Most of what I've learned from personal knowledge and experiences that I've had or been through. I learned from many teachers. I've had 13 teachers, but none of them from what you would call your your United States or government certified courses, classes, or certificates, and all those things. So whatever you do because it's what you'd like to do. And this information is just a suggestion of things that can be done and things to look at to change our lives for the better. So welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you who are not aware, they call me Doctor, not doctor, it's Doctor. Be serious. I started out as a musician, a producer, and was very successful in the music business, which was what brought me to the world of holistic health, because I realized that many of the musical frequencies and the lifestyles that are being projected are actually parasitic, and they're using our bodies and our minds, using our nutrition, our thought patterns to feed a machine, to feed a system. And I realized that it was time for us to become free. To break free, it's going to take some focus. It's going to take having a strategy and moving towards that strategy each day. We've got a lot of information to cover today in a short time. So let's go. Let's see how we can do this to make this work. Okay. Parasites, things that live in or on our bodies and use us as a host. And they bring nothing to the table. They use our energy, our nutrition, our movement, and they're very selfish. Parasites are everywhere. Let's make it clear. There's no way to live on this planet and not run into parasites. You're always going to have parasites, but it is the high populations of parasites and certain select parasites that can cause a lot of the issues that we have. If you have not checked out class number 1, go on after we're done here today, go check out The Enemy Within, class number 1. This is a 4-part series. Today is part 2. Next week, we will have part 3, if that is the will of the universe. Today, we're going to cover things that we may not have thought of that helps these parasites, these entities. And let's get this straight. Some parasites are people, people that use you. Some parasites are habits, things that we keep doing that's using us. Sometimes they're mental parasites, our own parasites. And habits can be parasitic. We can be parasitic with other people by, always using other people, needing other people to approve us and doing whatever the crowd says, whatever the, normal thing is, what they call it, the hypnotic societal mechanism. Hypnotic societal mechanism is an automatic system that a lot of people follow to be a part of that system, a part of that culture. There's agreements that are made that we feel are normal. This is okay. This is how we do it. This is how we live. But a lot of that is not natural. And we've got to figure out what is natural. We've got to secure the territory. The territory is the body. That's your energetic field, not just your body, but the auric field or the energy field around your body. That is the territory. It is very important to secure your territory. Your territory is your home. Your territory is anything that you bring yourself into, and you are securing your field. What is your territory? We must fortify the body and the mind against invaders by locating or creating a territory or border. It's also called a stronghold. A stronghold is a wall of protection. We must be careful not to build a stronghold or walls of protection around lies and misperceptions in our minds. So imagine your body, your space, your home is your stronghold. What's in your home, what you allow in your space, what you allow in your auric field, what you allow around you, who you allow around you, must be checked at the door. We must be at attention. We need security, guardians at the gate of ourselves. So imagine this castle. It's got to have tall walls so we can choose what we're letting in. And also, the walls can't be too tall because then we also will have a problem letting things go and letting things out. We must be careful not to build a stronghold or walls of protection around lies and misperceptions in our minds. Because just as that wall is protecting us from invaders from outside, there's things inside that we protect, that we covet, that could be causing just as much damage as what we perceive outside as being damaging. Hence, the enemy within. For many of us, the enemy is right in our homes. It's right in our cabinets. It's things that we walk in the store and buy, and we think that these are great because the commercials or the family has normalized using these products or using these things or having these habits or these mindsets that may be eating us alive. How many people here have habits that may be eating them alive? Things that you do to yourself. So we often think of the enemy as being out there. It's somewhere else. We love blame. We love to point a finger and say, that's why I'm like this. That's why this is happening. They did it. They're doing it. This class, this expose, is about finding and locating the enemy within us and some of the things that we do automatically that cause us pain. Part of this is programs in our subconscious mind. So quickly, we're going to break down the subconscious. And I found what I feel to be a simple way to break this down, because a lot of us don't get a picture of what the subconscious mind is. Just think of the subconscious mind as autopilot. Autopilot. The autopilot that you might have in your car or in an airplane is programmed by someone to keep a certain course, to get us to a certain destination. Sometimes our programming for the autopilot came from our family, came from friends, commercials. Buy this, buy this. This is the best. This one is better than the last. It also came from memes or, mimicry, where we agree and socially follow those who are purchasing something, doing something, buying something, saying something. Think about that. The subconscious is on automatic. It's like automatic pilot in the car. Set the destination. They've got cars now. You don't even have to drive. Just tell it where you're going. It'll take it there. You can sit back and just relax. But that automatic mind, which is automated, which is on automatic constantly, is the subconscious, and it's been programmed by the conscious mind. So the conscious mind is when you turn off the autopilot and you take the wheel and you're in control. You got to make sure you're shifting the gears. If you've got an old car, what they call a standard, or a car that shifts, what are they called? A manual. Well, you've got to shift the gears at a certain time. You've got to turn the wheel. You've got to stop. You've got to watch everything. You got to put on your turn signals. The conscious mind, the will, is in control of that when you're in the manual mind. The conscious mind, the will, it's totally aware of what's happening. But most of the time, we are in the automatic mind. We're in the autopilot mind. And everything is happening automatically based on the past. So some of the choices and things that we buy, even, and we use to clean our homes and our houses and our bodies, they're on automatic because you've received commercials over and over. And all it takes is seeing a commercial 7 times before it sticks in your mind, or hearing statements, or watching our parents, or, using something over and over and over, or hearing that this thing is great, and not thinking on our, in our true, gut feeling. So sometimes we just go along to get along, and we just become complacent and just follow the rest of the sheep in the corral. Those habits, many of them that are destructive in our own subconscious, are parasitic. We talk a lot about that in class 1, the mental parasites. But we're going to talk about this a little more here, because some of those mental parasites have to do with what we're choosing, what we're agreeing to, what we're using. So we must be careful not to build a stronghold or walls of protection around lies and misperceptions in our minds. The mind basically has 2 main functions: preparation and protection. Preparation can work great for us because we're preparing for our lives. We're preparing to do our best. We're preparing to have great relationships. We're preparing to have, finances that are good and all of those things. We're preparing to be healthy. But if you put protection first, then you'll protect the old ways. You'll have things in the castle, which is your home, which is your space. Your castle, your home is you. It's not the building, it's you in your auric field, in your energetic field, in your magnetosphere. That home has habits or ways or things that the energy flows. We have to break some of those habits and let some of those mental parasites go. Some of those habits are based on repetition, the repetition, the repetition, the repetition over and over and over and over and over. That's why when you follow Dr. B and many other teachers, you'll hear us repeating things over and over, motifs, because we forget. The commercials they make sure you don't forget. They're going to keep coming around and around and around and around so that you will buy in. It'll be subconsciously programmed, automatic, on autopilot in your brain. And some of your thoughts and feelings and things that you've learned are on autopilot in your head. They may not even be good for you, but they're on automatic. We break that spell here with this class. We often think and speak in problems without even looking towards solutions. We feel defeated before we even start. This is a parasitic attitude that robs us of our ability to free ourselves. This class is about the art of war. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. Make up your mind that victory is certain. Make up your mind that victory is certain. Make up your mind that victory is certain. Decide to win. Say, I allow victory. Preparation is your readiness. Your readiness is more important than the actions of the enemy. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Remember, the mind basically is about preparation and protection. Today, we're going to be preparing so that we can protect the things that are healthful and helpful to us. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Stand up and be in the winner's circle. We covered this last week. We're going to cover it just once more. What is an enemy? A thing that harms or weakens something else. Know thyself. Identify the enemy. Identify yourself. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb to every battle. This is Sun Tzu, The Art of War. I'm going to read it once again. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. This is essential, y'all. This is about knowing ourselves and knowing the enemy and knowing what may be in us that is the enemy, in us, in a we. In order to know yourself, you got to unclutter and clean up your environment. If your environment is cluttered and that's what you're seeing and that's what you're existing in, there's no order, then how can you ever know what home is? How can your castle be secure if your environment is insecure? Seeing the cure is very important, and order when we're in war is extremely important. Who is creating the orders? Who's giving the orders? Are the orders coming from an old mindset, some things you were taught? Or are you ready to relearn and relive? Because a winner is always learning new information, always readjusting, recalibrating. Sometimes we get to a point where we say, well, I got it now. I eat a certain way. I study this awareness information, and I'm a winner. I got this. Some things may be slipping through the cracks, and that's what today is about. The things that you may not have thought about that could be cluttering up your environment. Your environment is everything. How you keep your home, what you clean your home with, what you wear, all of those things are part of the environment. If the environment is a winning environment, this is a part of knowing yourself. Know thyself. According to traditional Chinese medicine, the element for fall is metal, iron. The emotion that ties into the season is unresolved grief, anxiety, and sadness. It's linked to the large intestine and the lungs. So fall is about cleaning up, right? It should be it's about leaving the leaves, letting your leaves fall like the trees. Metal or iron is important so you'll know what to throw away and what to keep. Because if you don't have enough iron, you don't know yourself. And there's not enough iron in the soil. There's not enough iron in your greens and your vegetables, unless you're getting some, certain things from around the equator. There's usually not enough iron, especially in North America and in South America, or below or above the equator. Right around the equator, we've got a lot of these minerals. So this season, right, it ties into the emotion of grief. Think about it. A lot of people, they feel grief and sadness when that sun is dropping. Anxiety comes online. You're anxious, is thinking about what's going to happen in the future and what am I going to do? Anxiety is thinking and pondering on the future. And also sadness is very popular in this season because of the angle of the sun. It's lower in the sky. We're not getting as much sunlight or vitamin D, and it affects our emotions. A lot of us are sad and grieving the loss of summer. Summer's gone. Oh my God, it's going to be cold soon. And we start projecting and creating a world that's already disagreeable. Because we also project, our minds project into the season. So this season is about the large intestines and the lungs being balanced. So cleaning your colon is good. That's also a part of cleaning up your environment. You got to get the shit, the toxins, the poo-poo, the waste out of the castle, out of the home, out of your body. The lungs must be clear. We must breathe deeply, especially if we're going to do battle with parasites, because parasites know that this is the time of year when most people are going to slip and their immune systems are going to fall. So they call this fall is also called flu season. because when you get less light, you get less vitamin D3, which is a big part of your immune system. So the parasites are living based on seasons. That's why we say we should do seasonal detoxification programs. And this is one of the most important times to cleanse, not just the colon, not just the digestive tract, but systemically through your whole system. Because the superbug parasites and all the strong ones are coming online right now. So when you're sad, your immune system is not functioning well. When you're in grief, you're anxious, and you're upset, and you're feeling all those disagreeable emotions, that causes your immune system not to come online, because now the body goes into fight or flight, and it says send blood to the extremities because we may need to run. Something's bad out there. The environment is terrible. There's a war. There's a fight going on. There's an enemy coming, and we're not prepared. So we got to prepare for the enemy in you. You got to prepare for the things that are going to come up in you in the fall. To do that, we got to let go of a lot of things. Iron is important. Somebody said, well, where's the iron, Dr. B? What's the best iron? Well, we made an amazing product for this issue. This is Iron Essential. It has magnesium and trace minerals. It's good for anemia, which most people have at some level. That's why we don't have as much courage. And that's why we like to hold on to things that we don't even need anymore. It's not even good for us because we don't have enough courage and enough strength. So we become weak and we hoard things. We got lots of things we no longer need, whether they be habits or products, just stuff, because we're not courageous, because we feel like if we're losing things, we won't get more. That's a type of fear. Iron is important for energy and whole body wellness. It's a blood tonic and a poor, tired blood remedy. And the one thing we need to keep in mind is almost all sciences and all beliefs, even religions and politics and all of those sciences all come together and say that without strong blood, we cannot be strong. And iron is the main thing to make strong blood. Iron Essential. Your mess is your mirror. I'm going to take some iron. Three droppers is pretty good. Your mess is your mirror. When we start looking around in our home and looking around inside ourselves, we're looking at ourselves. We're looking at our habits. We're looking at our ways. We're looking at our patterns. That's why cleanup at this time is important. Clean up, clean up, clean up, clean up. What's the little song they used to sing? Clean up, clean up. There's something they used to sing in school. I can't remember what it was. But we've got to detoxify our environment right about now. Keep in mind that things hold energy. Oh, is that hand moving? This thing looks like it's moving. Wow. That's deep. It looked like the image back there moved a little bit. That was a little freaky. Things hold energy. Everything is made of energy. Energy cannot be destroyed or created. It just changes. Sometimes what you're holding on to are mindsets that cause you to live in the realm of hungry ghosts. Old ways, old habits, old products, old patterns can haunt you. They should be dead and gone because they're in the past. But a lot of folks live in the realm of hungry ghosts. And when I was making this slide, I was like, I never thought about the word realm has the word real in it. a lot of things that should be dead and gone, we feel they're real. We believe it. It's real, Dr. P. Our past, our traumas are real to the mind. Real, real in your mind. Not real factually, but real in the mind. And those ghosts, those hungry ghosts, they haunt us and they eat us alive. That's parasitic. That's a parasitic flow. Remember that everything holds energy. So you may have things in your home that need to go. Many years ago, when I used to do in-home consultations, I went to a lady's house in Los Angeles, and she was really sad. She really was just sad all the time. She was just felt, even though, she had a great job, she was making great money, she had a great husband, or if that's, that was success for her. She had what seemed like everything that she wanted, but she was just stuck. So when I walked around her home, we looked around, everything was good. She was eating really good too. We went to the refrigerator. We went into the cabinets. Yeah, it's a service that we do once in a while for our clients that are really ready for that, because that's an investment. And I noticed in her living room, everything was perfect. The feng shui, or the order of furniture, the colors, was all perfect, except there was this big cabinet thing in the middle of the living room. It was old. It didn't fit. It looked like it was ancient. It was ugly. Let's just say that the thing was ugly. And I asked her, I says, what is this? Oh, that's a something kind of cabinet, had a special name. I don't know. I'm aware or something, whatever it was. I said, well, where'd you get this? She says, oh, well, my aunt, when she passed, everybody in the family said I should have this. I says, really? How long has it been here? Well, ever since my aunt passed, How was your relationship with your auntie? And her head drops. It was terrible. Me and my aunt fought. She didn't respect me. I didn't respect her. Our relationship was fighting and throwing shade. And it was just terrible. We never, ever got along. When she crossed over, when she transitioned, you inherited her furniture. Something that was in her environment, in her castle, that holds her energy. And you have it in your living room. The energy of it is haunting you. It's a haunted cabinet. Some of y'all may be laughing, but do you have any haunted cabinets, haunted furniture, haunted jewelry, haunted gifts, haunted clothes? Things that were given to you and we feel they're worth something. The lady told me it was going to be worth something one day. She said, that thing's almost antique. It's almost antique. It's going to be worth something one day. It's going to be worth a lot of money. Lady, at the pace we're going here, you may not make it to the point where this thing becomes worth something, because right now, its energy is sucking your life force away. It's like a vacuum cleaner sucking the energy out the air. The cabinet is haunted. And I said, I've got to go because I can't handle the energy my own self. And I left. Many, many, many months later, the lady came into my lecture and I didn't recognize her. And she was sitting in the front row. She was smiling. She was happy. She was glowing. After the lecture, she came up to me and she says, Dr. B, oh my gosh, how are you doing? Your lecture was great tonight. Thank you for saving my life. And I said, well, how did I save your life? Well, and I didn't even remember who she was. She says, I'm the one that you came to the house over off of Crenshaw. And I had that cabinet in the living room. I said, oh, yes. I says, wow, you've changed. She says, yes, my whole life has changed. Because that thing in my living room was a parasite. That furniture was sucking my life force out. It was living in my house, which means life beside. Parasite means life beside. Sight means means life. Para means beside. It was eating me alive. I was dying. And the people came to look at it when I was selling it. I had to pay them to take it. It wasn't worth anything. I had to pay the people to take it. And it took me a while to keep vacuuming the area where it was and rubbing the rug so that the indentation of the legs of it or the bottom of it wouldn't be still in my house, because the indentations of that furniture was also going to be in my mindset when I looked over there. I got rid of it, and I got rid of a parasite that was that furniture. Thank you, Dr. B, for changing my life. So keep in mind that things hold energy. You may have things that you are keeping because it was a great gift from someone you loved or had an issue with or whatever at the time. It could have been a relationship and they gave you a ring or some jewelry and you're no longer in that relationship and the relationship didn't end very well. You may have ended up with what you call brokenheartedness. So now you got broken heart syndrome, keeping the broken heart products and keeping the things in your house, which hold energy. Everything holds energy. The energy should flow and give you life, not take life, because if the energy of the things that you have in your space, in your castle, in your stronghold are toxic and they're sucking out your life force, you got to get rid of them. Let them fall like the leaves of fall. Are y'all catching what I'm throwing out there? Think of your home. Some of y'all got some beautiful homes. This house looks great. Oh my God. I wish my living room and dining room, kitchen area were open like that. Look at the light coming in. Now you're looking at what it looks like. What about the energy of the room? The energy of the house? What's in the cabinets? A lot of people have a beautiful home, a beautiful space, a beautiful apartment. Could be a tiny home, could be a large home, doesn't make any difference. The question is, are there toxins in that home creating toxic home syndrome? We got a clean house, y'all. It's time to eliminate toxic waste. Are you ready? Don't clean with toxins. So you're ready to clean up your home. What are you using? A lot of commercial cleaners have volatile organic compounds, VOCs. Voice. It sings. It's making a sound energetically. I just made that up. I'm always attempting to put things together and create something new. Are you cleaning your house with ammonia? That's what they told us. That's what we were taught. How to clean our homes. Our parents taught us, use ammonia. Ammonia irritates skin, eyes, and the respiratory system. Harmful if mixed with bleach. It's actually poison if mixed with bleach. I did it once and passed out. If it wasn't for my brother, I might not be here now. Just from mixing ammonia and bleach, trying to get really clean. Chlorine bleach. Sodium hypochlorite. It's corrosive, produces toxic gases when combined with acids or ammonia. Formaldehyde, preservative and disinfectant, known carcinogen. Benzene and toluene, solvents sometimes present in degreasers and polishes linked to neurological and immune effects. Do you have some of this in your home? Look at your commercial products, those things that really clean great. Read those labels. This is in a lot of products, even in those homes that we feel we're holistic and we eat very well and we're conscious and we're aware. Please read carefully the labels of the products that you're using to clean your home, because you may be cleaning with toxins. A lot of these cleaners have surfactants and detergents. Non-phenol. Listen to that. Non-phenol. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. A lot of these. Non-phenol ethoxylates. NAPES. These are endocrine disruptors. They're toxic to aquatic life. Now, hold on now. What is endocrine disrupt? What are endocrine destructors? They don't want me to say that. I got to do my cleanse. I'm starting my cleanse on Monday. Y'all starting to cleanse with me for the month of for the next 2 months. We'll all be cleansing. So come with us. It helps our tongue. Sometimes those parasites that we all have, they don't want us to say things that could cause problems to you cleaning up your environment, which helps to get rid of them. The endocrine system are your glands. Your glands are mini computers that work with your brain computer. And most of these glands emit hormones, not all of them, but they emit hormones, and hormones are chemical messengers. So these glands, which all are at certain parts of the body, there's 7 major glands which connect to the 7 chakra systems. That's why the 7 chakras are in the place that they are, because there's also 7 glands which help to send messages that the central nervous system is sending those messages out through the Ethernet or the internet of the body. If these things disrupt your endocrine system, then your chemical messages that come from your hormones are going to be distorted. They say it's toxic to aquatic life. Well, that's not me, Dr. B. I don't live in water. Did you know that we live in a liquid? The air we live in is a liquid, and we actually are aquatic beings. Have you ever heard this before? We live in fluidic space. This is a fluid. It's just that it's a different density than water or oil, but it's still a fluid, because a fluid takes the space of what it's in. This is a fluid. Air is a fluid. It's a liquid. It's just a different type of liquid. Some of the scientists online might be, well, Dr. B, you're really stretching it. Well, you guys do a lot of stretching, huh? Of the truth. I'm not stretching the truth. I'm just giving another analogy of how to look at a liquid or as something that is aquatic. If this is toxic to aquatic life, it's toxic to you. These are cleaners. This is what you use on your dishes. This is what you use on counters to clean your tub. And you feel like, oh my God, I used it on my dishes, but then I rinsed them. If you're using it, the vapor of using it is in your nostrils. You're breathing it in. It's in your skin. And if you're using gloves, a lot of times we use plastic gloves. Well, the plastic gloves are toxic themselves. and you're putting hot water on the plastic glove, and that's vaporizing, outgassing the plastic in the glove, and now you're outgassing the vapor that's in the chemicals, and you're breathing this in, so it's having an effect on you anyway. And sometimes you can't even rinse good enough to get this stuff, the mild film of it, off of your dishes. Also, a lot of the detergents have linear alkyl benzene. Do y'all know about benzene? Look up benzene. That breaks down grease. It cuts grease fast. Benzene. With grease cutters. Benzene. This is what we use. I used to be a mechanic, and this is what we used to use to clean up the garage floors, to take the grease off the floor, off the concrete. You put some benzene or this benzene type material on it, and it would just suck up the grease and break it down no matter how bad the grease was. So it's breaking down the oil barriers and the oil and the grease and the natural oils in your body. This is linear. I'm not sure what that means. And if there's any scientists in here, maybe you could break this one down. What the heck is a linear alkyl benzene? Sulfonates last. It's the last thing you might need to be using. But it's in these products in the store. They're on sale. They got commercials with dancing little puppets and cartoons, and they show you, all these things that this cleaner can do. Skin and eye irritants. It's slow to biodegrade, so that means you're washing it down your drain. Where does the drain go? Do anybody know where the drain goes? All of our trash, all of our waste flushes to the ocean. And in some communities, it flushes to a river or a stream or an underground tank that slowly leaks out into the water table, into the streams, into the springs, because under the ground, almost everywhere there's springs, there's water. There's rivers and oceans and everything under us, underground, that are becoming toxic because of the cleaners that we're using that don't break down. This is not sustainable, y'all. How many of your products have they say they're antibacterial? And they also sit on the shelf for a long time, so they're preservatives. It stays clean and stays good for a long time. Some of them have triclosan and triclocarban hormone disruptors. Hormone disruptors? Disrupt that word right there. Disruptors? What happens when your hormones become disrupted? This material in a lot of cleaners or antibacterial products contribute to antibiotic resistance. That means when you need an antibiotic, it may not work, because if this is in your system, then guess what? You're up the creek without a paddle, because this cancels out antibiotics, which means that it also cancels out the function of your microbiome. Your friendly bacteria can't work for you, because that's one of the first defenses of your immune system. First, it's your skin, and it's your gut. Those are all part of your immune system. This stuff is on your skin, and if you're breathing it or eating it, and if there's amounts of it in your food, because they use this stuff also in, the processing of foods, they spray the counters down. Before they cut that meat and cut that chicken's head off, they got to spray it down with these antibacterials. And what is quaternary? Please, forgive my, pronunciation. Some of this stuff is really, it's challenging to pronounce. And then even if we say it, we think we're saying it right, we may not be. So some of you scientists out there know the proper way. Just know that we're doing our best. Quaternary ammonium Anemone. That's a little bit different than ammonium. That's anemone. It's two M's in there. So what happens with two M's? Not good. It's extra bad. These compounds are called quats. These little names. Quat. Squat. They sit on your lungs. They cause respiratory irritants. This sits on your skin. Makes your skin almost too sensitive. And it can trigger asthma. How many people are having asthma and lung issues and breathing issues and don't realize it's the stuff you just used to clean your home? The stuff you're trying to get out of your castle. Remember, you have got to know who the enemy is. What is an enemy? A thing that harms or weakens something else. You mean some of these products are the enemy? And you brought them home. You wanted your house clean. You listened to the commercial. You listened to your parents. You listened to your friends. They used it. It's really good. You got to know thyself and identify the enemy within. Identify yourself. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself, then you are not going to bring something in your home, into your environment that is going to kill, hurt, or cause harm to you, yourself, your family, and your loved ones. If you know yourself, but not the enemy, you don't know that this product was the enemy. You thought it was good for you. Everybody else is using it. The commercial keeps talking about how good it is, and they show you these images, and they have these words. Read that 800 number. Call the company. Find out what this stuff is that you're using. What am I supposed to use, Dr. B? I'll get there in a few. Oh, this is so deep. Some of these antibacterial and preservatives have phenols. Are you fiending for phenols? They're corrosive, toxic to the liver, kidney, and the nervous system. But we want things done quick and easy. That's why we use microwaves and other things that could be causing self-harm. And we wonder, why are we having such premature death and illness? Why are we not living into our hundreds like the centenarians in the blue zones? Because we've got to go back to a simpler way of taking care of cleansing ourselves and our homes. Solvents. Oh man, they solve a problem. They solve the issue of you living too long. A lot of us love solvents because they cut grease and clean up things that is hard to clean. Some of them have glycol ethers, e.g., 2-butoxyethanol found in glass cleaners. What's the glass cleaner where the glass is so clean that the bird don't even know that it's glass? Have y'all seen that? I know y'all have seen it. How many times does that actually happen where a bird hit your glass because it was so clean? The commercial says that it's going to be so clean that birds won't even know the difference between it and other. Linked to reproductive and neurological harm. Also, it has ethanol, that's not ethno, that's ethanol, lanamines, DEA, sound like a government organization to me, TEA, MEA. Those are type of ethanolanamines. I like to say ethanol landmines. How's that? I try to make it a little fun, so forgive me, scientists and serious folks out there. A little laughter can help us because this is deep. And sometimes a little levity along with serious subjects can help the truth go down. Lung and skin irritants, DEA, right? Which is DEA and CAN. What is CAN? Let's try to get it right. Carcinogenic nitrosamines. Former carcinogenic nitrosamines. Oh, dang. All I wanted to do was clean up my home. Dr. B said, clean home. We got to clean up the castle. These products are sucking your life force out. They are parasitic. See, I'm saying this parasite thing is deep. It's not just the little bugs in your colon. And what's the mindset where you're going to the store and you're purchasing these items? Oh, it was on sale. Get one free. No, I used my club card and hit myself over the head and bought this trash and brought it home to spray around the house. I've got newborns. I've got pets I love. I've got a home. I love my home. But is your home toxic because you're using toxic materials in your home? Somebody said, well, Dr. B, what am I supposed to clean glass with? The best glass cleaner is vinegar and water. You could even drink a little bit while you're cleaning your windows, especially if it's, apple cider vinegar. It cuts grease from the glass really quickly. My grandmother, all she used was vinegar. She used half vinegar, half water, and she used newspaper. I don't know if you could use the new newspaper, but it was something about newspaper, or at least paper towels. Those windows were clean. Is that simple? Do you know how much a big bottle of vinegar is, especially if we were using the white vinegar? Now, the white vinegar you shouldn't drink. It's too acidic. But it's okay for cleaning the home. You could clean all kinds of surfaces with white vinegar. I bought some not too long ago. It was maybe $2, maybe $3. I think the price went up because of, the tariffs. It was $3 now. They use the tariff thing on everything. Between tariff and the pandemic, that's the excuse for everything. So prices go up because of an emergency that supposedly happened. But you can get a large bottle. You can take a cup of that white vinegar and put it in your clothes when you're washing them in the washer. And guess what? It makes them very soft and fluffy. They have those softeners. You know what I'm saying? Fabric softeners. There's some blue stuff. It's usually blue because blue makes you agree that it's really working. You know what I'm saying? Get a cup of vinegar. Your clothes are not going to smell like vinegar. The white vinegar, put it in your clothes. Get another cup or two, depending on how big the load is, of baking soda. And another cup or two of boric acid, or what they call borax. Borax. These are 3 natural cleaners that you could clean almost everything in your home. The only things I have in this house that are cleaners in this building are those. And I do also have what they call Dr. Bronner's Sal Suds, S-A-L, Suds, Sal Suds. It's a very strong cleaner, but it's all natural. When I met Dr. Bronner many, many years ago when he was still alive, he drank most of his soaps to show you that they were non-toxic. You try drinking some of this stuff. Drink a little glycoethers. Try drinking a little 2-butyl ethyl-phenol. Drink a little bit of that. Try drinking some triclosan tricarbolan. or some quaternary ammonium, or some phenols. You probably say, well, Dr. B, I don't drink this stuff. You do. If you're using it, you're drinking it. You're smelling it. Smelling it is drinking it. Try smelling, drinking, or using some non-phenol oxalates, NPSs. Try drinking, using, smelling some linear alkybenzene. Do you know how toxic benzene is? What I'm saying is that you're using this stuff, you're drinking it, you're eating it. It's in your atmosphere. It's in your home, making your home toxic. You've got to get this stuff out. And the mindset that says this stuff was on sale, this stuff is easy, this stuff works, is your own mental parasite getting you to do things to destroy your own life and to do self-harm. That's parasitic. The dangers of benzene. Benzene is a known carcinogen. They ain't hiding this one. Short-term exposure can cause headaches, dizziness, and respiratory issues. Which respiratory issues are we talking about? Lung cancer? Is lung cancer a respiratory issue? Asthma. Shortness of breath. You know how many respiratory issues there are? And the respiratory system is part of the heart, is part of that system too. They say, no, it's not, Dr. B. Listen, be careful when we start dividing these organs up. If something affects the lung, it affects the heart. If it affects the heart, it affects the mind. If it affects the mind, it affects the body. If it affects the digestive tract, and if it affects the lungs, which affects the kidneys, which affects the liver, the entire body is involved in this system. Benzene is in a lot of products. Long-term exposure increases the risk of leukemia and other cancers. Let's break down how. Get your water, Dr. B. There is a parasite called the fluke worm that lives in some of our digestive tracts. Most people have fluke worms in their system, and they're harmless as long as they don't sense organs out of harmony. Let's put it that way. These flatworms, they look like little grains of rice, but pointy on the sides, on the ends. You know, I don't have a picture. Actually, maybe I do. Can I show a fluke worm? We don't need to see the picture right now. We'll show the pictures next week. It has little like hairs, which are actually receptors, which are actually antennas all around its body. And it is sensing the body, sensing the fluid, sensing the energy in the digestive tract to see if any organ or any body tissue is out of vibration. If you just use most of these products, your body's energy is off most of the time because these things are sucking you dry. They're burning you out. They're frying you. You are living in a microwave vibration. The fluke worm is tricky. And the reason why they call it a fluke worm, because a lot of times the symptoms of the fluke worm mask themselves as symptoms as other things. So the doctor treats you for something else, but that was a fluke. It was a fluke because the fluke worm is tricky. When there is benzene in the system, you smelled it. It's on your skin. It's in your environment. It's in your home, in the cabinet. Dr. B, I have it, but it's in a product and it's in a cabinet and it's closed. It's never closed. Have you ever had a product that you haven't used in many years and it's been way in the back of a cabinet and opened it and it was empty? Sometimes it's open. The seal is broken and you don't know it. What are you talking about, Doc? These products outgas. They leak out of the containers because the containers are not ever sealed totally. If they're in plastic, remember some of these things erode the plastic over time. They erode the seal. They are never totally sealed, these products. You can't seal them. If you were to go to the factory where they make most of your commercial cleaning products, they got on suits. They got on those biohazard suits like, E.T. Remember that movie when they came around and you know what I'm saying? They had these suits on. These products are toxic. They tell you you can't sue them because they told you. And they offered you an 800 number so you could call and find out what these products were. And now these products, you can look them up. Use your AI. You got AI. Ask AI what these things are. And AI will say, aye, and show you what is burning the cornea of your eye. Did you know when you use these products, the vapor is in your eye, gets in your eye, and that coating, that mucosa lining on your eye is like a skin or a membrane on your skin that absorbs toxins in the air and goes straight to the brain because your brain, right, is connected directly to your eye. Did you know your eye is the part of your brain that you can see? Your eyes are actually a visible part of your brain. Oh, come on, Dr. B, you're going too far. I'm not going far enough. When the fluke worm detects benzene in the system, and if you've used most of these commercial products, even skin lotions and some of these beauty products, you got benzene in your system. You're rubbing it on your skin, and whatever is on your skin is in your blood in 17 seconds. Whatever is on your skin is in your blood in 17 seconds. Whatever is on your skin is in your blood in 17 seconds. Whatever you're breathing in is in your system in 1 second. Benzene has a chemical affinity for the thymus gland. The thymus gland is the master immune system organ right here in your chest over the thyroid. Like when you need strength, when you want to be strong, when you want to be sure about your purpose, you tap your chest like this. Activates your thymus, and the thymus sends out the troops and says, we're strong. Make sure the stronghold is strong. Check all the exits. It sends the security out. Your immune system is like the security forces. But that thyroid or that thymus gland, which is like for our government, it would be like the Pentagon. That's where the great generals are. And that's where they decide where they're going to fight, when they're going to fight, who they're going to fight, and what they're going to fight. They need to know the enemy, but first they need to know themselves. And they study this. They spend more money on what? War and defense. Actually, they spend more money on offense, but we're not going to go there, Dr. B. Don't get political. That's just so that you let them spend the money when you say it's on defense. Nobody's even attacked us. But oh my God, we got to spend money on defense. It's offense and it's offensive. And we are offensive to ourselves. Never mind what they're doing. So we start getting into what they're doing to us. What are we doing to ourselves? Do you have an enemy in your cabinets, in your medicine cabinet, in your cabinets of your home? Never mind what they're doing. What are you doing? If you got benzene in your home, you are a loser. Because the benzene has a chemical affinity for the thymus gland. The thymus gland is supposed to make immune cells that go fight the war for you. But if there's benzene in the system, it doesn't function very well because there's a magnetic attraction for benzene some kind of way for the thyroid, for the thymus gland. Then the fluke worms, which have little antennas on them, which are sensing the system for weakness, guess what they do? They drill holes in the walls of your digestive tract, or they go into your lymphatic system and swim until they find the organ that is out of balance, and they move into that organ. They set up shop. They got fluke worm churches, factories. They make babies. They meet. They get married, and they live in the thymus gland. Long as there's benzene there, that weakens that organ and creates a space, a stronghold for that particular parasite. That parasite, which was a digestive parasite, is now a systemic parasite because it's moved from the digestive tract into the thymus gland. How you gonna get rid of that? Boy, cloves and wormwood and black walnut and diatomaceous earth, pumpkin seeds, pomegranate seeds. Those work very good for the digestive tract. What we're talking about is systemic parasites now, weakening your system, the enemy within. So we've got to detoxify the thymus gland now from benzene, these other chemicals, and the parasites. The right type of cleanse will help to detoxify your body from these things. And most of the things, and I'm a master herbalist, but I'm not just an herbalist, I'm an alchemist or a metaphysical herbalist. So we look at the spiritual, energetic properties of herbs and also states of disease. Your mind is the first medicine. That's the first disease also. What you're thinking, what you're doing. You purchased this stuff. You covet this stuff. You brought it into the stronghold. You brought it into the castle. You got alligators all around. They'll have alligators in the moat around the castle, right? And the drawbridge drops. And you come in, you just been shopping with your brand new car. You drive across the broad drawbridge, and then the drawbridge closes so that no enemies can come in, because they're going to have to jump in that water with those alligators and the crocodiles or whatever they got in the water. That's what's going to kill them. But you just brought the most toxic thing home with you on sale using your club card. So how does benzene affect cells? Because the cells become toxic. You can't just do a parasite cleanse, y'all. You've got to go deep and detoxify your environment. Fall is the best time, because as those trees are leaving their leaves behind, you've got to leave some of the habits behind. Clean up your home. Open up the windows. You've had the air conditioning on probably all summer. Open the windows and get air. Let the wind blow through. My grandmother used to take the mattresses outside, and she would lean them up against the building and beat them with a broom. She would take the rugs and put them on the clothesline and beat them. Nowadays, we don't do that, Dr. B. That's old-fashioned. Grandma was crazy. No, grandma was healthy. Grandma was sensible. Grandma only used, but my grandmother only washed clothes with borax and baking soda. And sometimes she put a little vinegar in there. And to make them white, she used this stuff called bluing. Whatever this stuff called bluing was, because the color blue cancels out yellow or something like that. And the clothes were white and they would be fresh. And let me tell you something. The only bed clothes that my grandmother ever used were made of what? Linen. They had a cabinet called the linen closet. And the linen closet, all around it had wood, and the wood was cedar. It was a cedar cabinet because moths will eat the linen. But moths will not go into a linen closet if there is cedar. They made a lot of furniture and things out of cedar. Cedar has that smell. And the moths, they're not, a lot of bugs not going to deal with that vibration from cedar. Somebody says it's challenging finding natural fibers these days. It is not. Go to, I'm not trying to do a commercial, but the easiest way to find this stuff is on Amazon. Make sure that you're getting 100% cotton or 100% linen or a mixture or hemp or bamboo. If you're using, polyesters, those are chemicals. Some of these same chemicals that I just mentioned are part of the polyester. So get rid of your polyester bedclothes and your polyester. You're wearing polyester underwear? Think about that. And you wonder why there's so many reproductive problems. You keep talking about, oh boy, the nanoparticles that they used in the jabbies and all of that and all the stuff that they did. What are you doing that's weakening your system that you've been doing for a very long time, which is habitual? This is a habit. This is a parasitic way of life. Benzene can cause cancer and leukemia because your immune system cannot recognize invaders. Benzene itself can cause cancer. Look it up. There's lots of research on it. Oh, God, Dr. B, we use these fragrances in a house to make things smell good. Synthetic fragrances, phthalates. That one right there, phthalates. How do you say pH? Phthalates. Limonene, ECT. Is that etc.? Or is that another? I got this from offline, so I don't know if ECT is another chemical or is it just saying etc. You never know. Endocrine disruptors, allergens, This allergy season right now. A lot of folks coming down with allergies using these fragrances and can form formaldehyde in the air. Some of these chemicals turn into another chemical when you spray it out the can or the bottle into the air because you're trying to get rid of some funky smell. You need to locate the funky smell. What is the funky smell coming from? You just want to cover it up? What's wrong with you? What's happening? What parasite is controlling your mind where you don't know? You're not sensitive to things that's disgusting. A lot of folks have the lost sense of the forgotten sense of disgust. That's an actual thing. Look it up. The forgotten sense of disgust. We all had a natural emotion, and we knew the energy of something that was disgusting. If there's a disgusting smell in your house, you need to go find it. If it's the rug, you got to get rid of it. You know what's living in that rug? What could be living in the rug? What could be living in your curtains? I went to some friends of mine's house one time. And, their mother had passed away and they were all given the house and they built a recording studio in the house. But the living room and the dining room, they kept mama's curtains. She had these big, thick church type curtains. And they smelled like pork. This is the honest truth. And I was like, oh my God. And I walked over to the curtains and I smelled, and it smells like pork. Guess what their main food was in the house? Pork. Mama been cooking pork in huge pots because it was a big family for years. And the grease and the vapor and the smell stuck. It had an affinity for those curtains. Those curtains are probably 50 pounds heavier than what they normally, I don't know about 50, but they're heavier than what because they got grease and they got the vapor of grease and they have the miasma of death in the curtains. So I mentioned it to my friend, man. We got to, man, I can't record at this studio, bro. This smells like pork. It feels like dead animals up in here. Oh, man, why are you saying that, B? I know you're trying to eat nothing but rabbit food, but man, we eat up in here. They had huge pots on the stove where they just boil whole pigs' heads, put them in there. Clean up your environment. I know we're talking saying, oh, wow, look at them. We're pointing the finger. What about you? What's in your curtains? What's in your walls? What's embedded in your paint? A lot of these things have dyes and colorants, coal tar dyes, potential carcinogens, and unnecessary additives, all in your fragrances. Other problematic agents. Now, I'm going to attempt to say this one now. Perchloroethylene Why the words got to be so long and big? So that get your mind to not even try to say it so you won't locate it. Perk. It perks up. Used in spot removers. Probable human carcinogen. Probable. Sodium lauryl sulfate. You see that in a lot of soaps. Harsh irritant to eyes, skin and eyes. Phosphates. Water pollutants. Causing algal blooms and ecosystem damage. What the heck is an algal bloom? It's called brown tide, red tide. All up and down the East Coast and around Florida right now, they are having a lot of issues with these toxic waters. In fact, I just made a choice that I'm no longer going to swim in any water around the United States, because every water I've gotten in the United States, I can smell it. You can feel it. It's in the beach, because all of our toxins flush out to the ocean, all of our poison. And see this algae and these bacterial agents and bacteria, there's a no word, bacteria, grow in those waters. I was in Malibu at one point, and I was talking to this guy who's a lifeguard. And I said, wow, the water looks really blue today. He says, yeah, they dyed it this morning. I said, huh? What are you talking about? He said, they dyed the water. The water was brown this morning. And they flew over and dropped these pellets and this stuff in the water to dye it so y'all would go swim. What? I'm trying to get life at the ocean, and they're killing me with the dyes. Think about it. These folks are tricky. Industry is tricky. You got to be smart. If they are doing this, you got to be careful what you're doing. It's not about what they are doing. It's more about what you are doing. I will not be swimming in any water, any public water around the United States anytime soon, because we've got some of the most toxic waters on the planet. Look up brown tide and red tide. What about the air fresheners, y'all? They don't cleanse. They use toxic chemicals to cover up smell. What if they said that on a commercial? This is air freshener 5. It's natural. The floral scent is amazing. We use toxic chemicals to cover up smells. So my friend that had the curtains, they went and got some air fresheners so that we would come to the studio and sprayed this stuff, which didn't smell like flowers, but it was a floral blend. This stuff don't smell like no flowers. Flowers never smelled that strong. Flowers don't make your throat itch and make you cough and sneeze when you spray it. It don't burn the tissue of your eyeball. Somebody said Florida is probably the best place when you get closer to an island. Yeah, that ain't Florida though. You got to go out towards islands. I'm talking about the coastal areas of the United States and many countries now, which are just toxic waste dumps. You might find some toilet waste floating in the water. That's where it goes. Where do you think it goes? And all the chemicals that people are taking and the drugs, it's in the water. You might get in some of this water and be high as a kite because you're on some drugs, legal drugs. Fragrances provide the pleasant scent, and they react with bad odors to change their composition. They provide the pleasant. What is pleasant, y'all? That's supposed to be something pleasing or something pleasurable. But if you've been agreeing for many, many years that things that are not naturally pleasurable or pleasurable, you've reprogrammed your mind. A lot of things that people think are good are not healthy or natural, but you've agreed over many years, you've programmed it. Your brain will take the shape of any idea you give it. Provides the pleasant scent. and they react with bad odors to change their composition. Do y'all hear this? Do you hear this? Listen carefully. Fragrances provide the pleasant scent, and they react. The pleasant scent reacts with a bad odor, which is something funky in your house, to change their composition so that when company comes over, oh my God, it smells so pleasingly fresh in here. All you did was change the frequency of some terrible smell of something rotting, which may be you. Sometimes the person in the house, the thing that's rotting is you. Some of your attitudes and some of your talk and some of your ways are rotten. Some people got rotten mouth disease. They talk trash all the time. And that house holds it in. It's a toxic home syndrome because the funky people that's living in there is creating more funk. Phthalates, this is in fragrances, y'all. Used to carry the fragrance, known as endocrine disruptors. Formaldehyde, a preservative. They use that to preserve dead bodies and things in the lab, right? That's in the air. Yeah, it's a preservative. So your dead cells don't even die because you've preserved dead cells that should be dead, but they're not dead because you put formaldehyde. So now the dead cells sit there and rot, and those rotten cells become cancerous or some other disease because you got a lot of rotten tissue in your issues. Whew. A preservative and fragrance stabilizer, carcinogenic. Benzene and toluene. What the heck is toluene? It's not a good thing to be in your body or around your smell hormones. Your smell hormones. Your smell receptors. Volatile organic compounds, VOCs, linked to neurological and respiratory harm. So probably some of us might be just crazy because of what we're using in the house. The soaps, the cleaners in our homes, on our bodies, some of these handy wipes and things that we use because we're out in the world and we want to be clean. We wipe our, put our hands on a doorknob. We wipe our tushies and toshies. What is tushies and toshies? Those tushies are up there, toes are down there. People are having these wipes. There's some good wipes. There's some wipes that are made of what? Witch hazel. I usually carry witch hazel wipes. It's an herb. It kills most toxins and poisons. Limonene. Sounds like lime, huh? It's not lime. It's limonene. And other terpenes, those are smells, can react with the ozone in the air to form formaldehyde and secondary pollutants. We got a firstendary pollutant. Now there's a secondary pollutant. What is this? 1,4- dichlorobenzene. There it is again, benzene. A deodorizer gets rid of the odors. You just can't smell the odor. It turns off the smell receptors in your nose. So the odor is still there. You just can't smell it. Whew. A deodorizer, toxic to liver, kidneys, and lungs. Synthetic musk. What is this? Synthetic musk. E.g., galaxolide. When you hear "ide," you better be careful. Ide. Toluide. Ide. Whenever you hear "ide" in a product, that's against life. Okay, I'm going to have to move some of this. Let's see. There we go. Synthetic musk. Galaxolide and toluide. Persistent in the environment. Persistent in the environment means it stays. Linked to hormone disruptors. A lot of disruption. A lot of these things disrupt your hormones. Remember, hormones are chemical messengers. may mean where that our messages are mixed. We have mixed messages sometimes in what we're saying. The body is trying to communicate with itself. Okay? Now, somebody said, I'm going to put this up. Can I put this up on the screen? I think there's a way to show this, because I'm not going to say it all. There was a clip out where the doctor said that when they did autopsies on people and cut into the liver, they could smell. I'm not going to say the name. If I say the name, I may get a spanking from the hidden hand. Even products labeled as unscented sometimes contain masking agents that still release volatile organic compounds. Even products labeled as unscented sometimes contain masking agents that still release volatile organic compounds. You hear organic, oh, it must be good. There's some volatile compounds that are organic and natural that will take you out. If it's unscented, something is masking the smell. Something is causing your smell receptors. See, olfaction, which is your smell nerves or your smell system, is the oldest system you have. It's the first one they say that develops in utero. Now, I don't know how they studied this, but they studied a lot of stuff. But your smell is keen. It can detect all kinds of changes in the environment. It's sniffing, looking for safety. Because remember, your mind is programmed for preparation and protection. Prepare for something and protect. So if you smell something that's dangerous in the air, you're supposed to get away from it. Move out of here. This is a bad environment. Or hold your breath. Go in there quickly and get out of there as quickly as you can. But guess what? If you have something that's masking your senses, listen to me now. If you have something that's masking your senses, making you senseless, you have no idea that the environment is toxic. You have no idea that this person walking up to you has the energy of a parasite. You have no idea that what they're saying to you on the news or what they're saying to you in politics has the energy of a parasite. So you get suckered, you get sucked, you get drank, you get dissolved in the digestive tract of the ideas of the not mind. You heard what I said. Hidden toxins in perfume. You got to use perfume. You want to smell good. Endocrine disruptors, phthalates, hormone disruption. You're trying to have good hormones if you're trying to smell good, right? You want to be attractive to somebody. Reproductive harm. Wait a minute. I'm trying to get with somebody so I can do something and have something and be something and make something. But my sexual vibration has been disrupted and distracted and defracted. Wow. But your mind is programmed in a hypnotic spell. Because this stuff it's cost a lot. Synthetic musk. What is it? Bioaccumulate to disrupt hormones. You know what that is? We'll talk about that maybe a little later. Preservatives, formaldehyde and releaser. Carcinogenic irritants, parabens, hormone disruptions, solvent and fixatives. Fixatives, fix what? Fix me or fix the program or the product? What's fixed? Sometimes the lie is fixed. The commercial is fixed. The game be fixed. You can't win. Diethylene glycol, styrene. What the heck is that? Organ and nervous system toxicity, often hidden under fragrance or perfumes on labels. Let's go back. Choose natural, transparent scents, essential oils, y'all. Natural essences. Be careful with a lot of these. What do they call them? What are they called? They're called fragrances. Used oils, fragrance oils. That's not the same as an essential oil. A lot of these fragrance oils that you buy, a lot of folks sell them on the corner and they're supposed to be natural. A lot of them are made from petroleum. Even the incense you use in your house, a lot of those incense sticks, the glue and everything that causes the incense to stick to the stick, is chemicals, glues, binders, and petroleum. There's a company called Fred. I think it's called Fred something. Look up Fred's incense sticks. They're made of real actual resins that are pressed onto a stick. In fact, you have to put them in the freezer when you're storing them because when it gets hot, the resins will fall off the stick. But it's the actual resins from different plants that make your home and your environment smell good. Essential oils. A great one is geranium and lavender. Geranium, lavender, and clary sage. Maybe 3 to 4 drops of each put in a diffuser. That's geranium, clary sage, and geranium, clary sage, and what was the third one? Geranium, clary sage, lavender, and you could also use sandalwood to take it to another level. You want to make your space smell good and feel good and have a good vibration and attract good energy, because this stuff attracts a mental mindset. It attracts you being parasitic to yourself. It attracts disease. This is disease causing stuff. This is crazy. This was given to you when you were in a mindset of struggle, of being poor. I want to have stuff. I want to smell good. I remember going to church and some of those colognes and perfumes, people, this stuff, you can't hear God. Your body is telling you to run. You're in fight or flight. This is not good. Your senses are making you senseless because you've numbed up and dumbed down your natural self. And you need to be able to get away from those spaces. And you definitely don't need to have it at your home, sitting on your cabinet, sitting on your dresser. You got all this poison seeping out of the containers. It's fall. It's time to leave this stuff. Give it away. How's this tie into parasites? Because when your system is weakened by any of these things, it strengthens the parasite because your immune system now is dysfunctional. And when your immune system is not functioning to its highest, then how can it protect you from parasites and bacteria and viruses and things in the air? How can it even protect you? How can your senses protect you from people who will suck your life force out? You can't feel it. Your gut feeling is gone. You don't know. So you just get involved in relationships and join up in meetings and buy stuff. And, you go to this and the people are talking in a certain way when you get there and they're selling something, and a part of you is telling you to get the hell out of here, but everybody's in agreement. They all look like they made money. They all look like they won and got that car. They got the money. They hit the lotto. They look really well. And it looks like in the commercial, these people are doing really well. I want to win too. There's other ways to win, y'all. You got to get rid of your parasites. If your home, if your stronghold is toxic, you will leave the home weak. And you will live in the days of the week. You'll be counting the days of the week. And at the end of the week, you'll get to the end of the weekend. And that weekend will end you because you'll party and you'll drink stuff and you'll do stuff and wear more stuff and get into a vibration, which is all about you getting into a traumatic vibe state, and dancing into your own hell. This is the hypnotic mindset of poorness. This was given to you by the mindset and the environment of abuse. This stuff is offered to you on sale, for sale, in a place where it's all about war. It's about consumerism. And you have to obey that mindset until you are ready to break the spell. If you don't break the spell now, you probably won't break it, because the atoms and the energy of the earth is speeding up too fast, which is supposed to wake us up. We're more connected now. We have the ability to be more connected than ever, but disconnection is happening because no matter what direction you go in, opposition is pulling you. If you're trying to create heaven on earth, hell is following you, because hell can be in your habits, your cabinets. Hell can be in your cabinets. How much hell you got in your cabinets? I'm saying let it all go, or at least put it out in the garage. And if your garage is connected to the house, make sure you put it in some kind of plastic containers that are, hermetically sealed. I guess plastic is never hermetically sealed, is it? Ingredients in perfume. Civet, from the civet cat glands, near its butt, in between its reproductives and its butt, is where they get the civet perfume or smell. Castoreum, from beaver scent sacs. This makes it a leathery aroma. Where? Near the buttocks and the reproductive organs of beavers. Ambergris, intestinal waste of sperm whales. They throw it up. It floats on the water and they go get it. It creates warm depth in your perfume. Musk, from the musk deer, somewhere in between the anus and the reproductives, there's these glands, and it makes an earthy, fixative smell. Now they say, well, mostly reproduced today with synthetic or plant-based alternatives. Huh? Did they say synthetic? Now we're back to the chemicals. You're either using butt and reproductive juice or chemicals. Or plant-based alternatives would be better. Toxic ingredients in beauty products. We're going to move a little quick because we're timing out soon. We're almost done, y'all. Phthalates, formaldehyde, sodium lauryl sulfate, parabens, toluene, triclosan, an antibacterial agent, a hormone disruptor. All these things are disrupting our hormones. And who comes along? Cryptosporidium. Huh? What is this, Doc? It's a parasite. It's a superbug. Cryptosporidium, often called crypto. Some of y'all invested in crypto. You may not realize there's a crypto that you're investing in that will not bring you any income, but there will be an outcome. It's a microscopic protozoan parasite. It primarily infects the intestines of humans and animals. The parasite produces oocyst, tiny eggs that are shed in the feces and can survive in the environment for long periods. This parasite, one of the places that it comes from is these waste pools and these, I'm trying to figure out a good way to say this and a good way to say it. I don't want to be too gross. But poo-poo hills, poo-poo mounds. What are poo-poo mounds? And what I do with my tea? Oh, here it is. Where they have these cows, they say something about cow patties because the digestive tract of the cow doesn't break down things as well. This is the domesticated cows. They just poop all over the place. So they pile it all up in these mountains or these hills or these mounds over many years. And those mounds are creating bacteria and life forms and biological agents attempting to feed off the undigested material in those mounds. Poo-poo platters. You ever get a poo-poo platter in Chinese medicine? I mean, the Chinese restaurant for Chinese medicine. Your food should be your medicine. This thing looks like a snail. It ends up it's created, or it lives in these places where there is waste material. And when it rains, it washes them into the soil or into the water table, into the streams, rivers, and tributaries, or the water table underground, or the underground springs. And also it begins to float to the ocean. It ends up in our water. They say almost all commercial tap water has cryptosporidium. And crypto means crystalline. So it has a crystalline way of reproducing. It's like a crystal. It's a living crystal, cryptosporidium. It's resistant to chlorine. You know, they put chlorine in your water to kill everything, but it don't kill this one, obviously, which is a major challenge for water disinfection, including swimming pools. Doc, we're all going swimming, jump in the water. I got to the level of lifeguard as a swimmer. We had to go to swimming every summer. And me and my brother were at the level. We swam so good, they have these badges they give you, and we were lifeguards. We didn't become lifeguards, but we had the ability or the level of lifeguardship. And we loved being in the water until I started getting sick. When I got in the water, I figured it was the chlorine. Oh, it's the people. How clean are the people before they jump in the water? Have they cleaned their tushies really good? Or do sometimes they out tushy in the water? There's a new word, out tushy in the water. The public pool, the public septic tank, the public poo-poo pool, the pee-pee pool. Huh? So they put more and more chlorine in it to try to kill off this stuff in the water. Did you just hear that this thing is resistant to chlorine? So you're telling me in the public pool, there may be cryptosporidium? Some people say, well, you're not going to be able to get away from it. Well, there's a way to detoxify from it. And that's what one of our programs does. Helps you to detoxify from this particular bug, which is a very challenging bug. And there's only a few things we know of that will actually disengage it and melt the crystalline structure of its body. Symptoms: watery diarrhea, stomach cramps, nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite, slight fever, dehydration, and weight loss and transmission. What is transmission? Weight loss, transmission. I don't know what that is. It must be I might have copied too much on that slide. How do you get it? Oh, there we go. There we go. Transmission is supposed to be another slide here. Swallowing contaminated water. When you swim, do you swallow any water at all? It's on your skin. Your skin is swallowing up the water from sources like recreational water or drinking water. Dun, 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 dun. Eating contaminated food. People contacting infected people, e.g. child care workers. They got to change diapers and take out trash, and they try to tell you just the child care. What about adult care? What about elderly care? What about people that are cleaning contact with infected animals? How you know an animal is infected or not? Or their feces. You got to pick up that poop. Pick up that poop. You're walking your dog. Pick up the poop. You got on your little plastic glove and you got your little baggie. This is deep, y'all. And you can smell it. So if you smell it, it's in the air. And if it's in the air, that's warning you that there's a problem here. Danger, 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 Will Robinson. Fecal oral transmission. This is poopy stuff. Through direct contact with contaminated objects and then touching your mouth, touching your skin, touching your eye, touching your ear, touching your touchies, anything with an opening. Cryptosporidium just comes on in. Giardia lambia, another one. It comes from the same cesspools. This one is another superbug, not easy to get rid of. See, they show here how this is the CDC, the Center for Disease and whatever they're called. They show you from the digestive tract, it comes out, it gets in the soil, possibly it gets in your fruit, it's in water, and then you eat it, and it just goes around and around and makes a cycle of death. Transmitted by the fecal oral route, common infection sources: drinking water, swallowing contaminated water, streams, rivers, lakes, swimming pools, eating food prepared with dirty water or unwashed hands. I mean, come on, at the restaurant, and a lot of you're washing your dishes with tap water. Unless you got the special filter, the special filters you can put on your whole house or just on your sink. Person-to-person contact, especially in daycare or crowded living conditions. Contact with infected animals, dogs, cats, beavers, livestock. You be having contact with beavers? Well, you're using beaver poop in your colognes. That's contact with beavers. Didn't they say that earlier? Giardia cysts are hardy and can survive for weeks in cold water. Dr. B, how am I going to take a bath? What you do is you put baking soda, 2 cups of baking soda, and 2 cups of boric acid. No, cancel, cut, delete, and clear. A tablespoon of boric acid, because it can be a little irritating to the skin, even though it could be good for you, in your water. Also use lavender oil. Lavender oil can be detected in an Olympic-sized pool and begins to kill bacteria and some of these bugs throughout the whole pool. Geranium and frankincense in your tub. Also put a mesh piece. Did I bring it? I didn't bring my mesh. A piece of copper, a mesh screen of copper, which you can get on a lot of places on the internet. Just get copper and put that in your tub water. Okay. That begins to turn down and turn off some of this stuff, because you got to take a bath and you got to wash up, and not everybody can afford these $3,000-$4,000, huge, home filters. So we've got to survive. The other thing is, this stuff it's always in the system at some level. So it's about detoxification. If you use a filter, right, you can filter some of this out with activated charcoal, but it has to be what they call a large carbon block of activated charcoal. That's a special type of filter, but that filter will not detoxify warm water, because warm water closes up the pores of charcoal and the water just goes around it. So if you're filling your tub, or if you're using cold water, then carbon is a very good way to do that. That's activated carbon. Otherwise, if you're taking a shower, you want to get a shower filter that has KDF. KDF. It looks like what does it look like? It looks like a metal. I don't know if you remember SOS pads back in the day. It looks like steel wool, but this is made of zinc and copper. Zinc and copper will disintegrate these 2 parasites. Even in the cleanse, there's zinc and copper in the cleanse to help disintegrate this in your body. That's why I say your regular parasite cleanse, it's good, but not for these 2 bugs. They don't care nothing about that. They eat the waste of the other parasites. They're waste eaters. You got waste watchers. This is the waste eaters. So we got to use, another thing a lot of people have done is they put 16 ounces of witch hazel in their bathtub. Hydrogen peroxide. You could put 2 cups of hydrogen peroxide in your bath water. If you're washing your hands, use a natural soap, vegetable oil soap, but you can also use these witch hazel wipes. Witch hazel wipes. We're going to need to get shower filters and water filters. And, you know, I designed a water filter many years ago. Some folks remember when I had this rain shower filter that I designed along with this man who's no longer here. So the company is gone. But the filter that I designed was bought by a company called Multipure. You can find the filter that I designed through Multipure. It's a shower filter. And I don't know if they have the bath filter, but you can run your bath water through this filter. But if you have a bath filter where the water goes through this like a bag or a little cup, it has to have KDF in it. Look for that. KDF. It's a combination of zinc and copper. And take a copper mesh and put it in your tub. Even in your sink, you could take this copper mesh and have it in your sink so you can always be rubbing your hands with this copper. Because copper is one of the things that helps to disorganize this group of parasites. One of the most common parasites worldwide is this one, Giardia lamblia, also known as beaver fever, because it comes from beaver butts in North America, because it's often spread by wildlife in streams and lakes. Can lead to chronic infection if untreated, causing malnutrition and failure to thrive in children. A lot of children are failing to thrive. In fact, it's a lot of adults today failing to thrive because it affects the brain. Anything that affects the gut affects the brain, which affects the lungs, which affects the heart, which affects the neurotransmitters, which affects your glandular system. Everything is connected, y'all. That's why we got to do a systemic detoxification. A major case of traveler's diarrhea and outbreaks from unfiltered water. You heard of this thing that people get sometimes in South and Central America called Montezuma's revenge? Or you go to these other countries. My family was in Thailand, and they say they got sick when they ate something in Thailand. Food was amazing, but they're not used to the toxins or the biological entities that are in that water. We are all toxic, not just me. Yes, drink water in a copper bottle. Now they've got the big, you can get the 5-gallon bottles of water, but you can also get the copper bottom that it goes on. Copper. I'm drinking water in copper. This is an old school copper bottle. It's 100%. Be careful, because a lot of that stuff out there is not really copper. So if you're looking for a shower filter, no, we look for one not with charcoal. It has to have copper and zinc. It'll say KDF. If it has charcoal, that charcoal is not going to filter the water, because the water, if it's hot, will go around the filter. I studied this very, very, extensively when I was working with the brother, and we created this special shower filter. Like I said, right now, you can buy that shower filter by going to the company Multipure. They bought all those designs. The company is called Multipure. Multipure also has a countertop water filters that you can put on your sink for drinking water. It has a large block of carbon for drinking water, but you can't use that for hot water. Okay, what are we saying here? All right, I'm not sure what this brother's saying. Excuse me. All right, we're winding down now. Drink only treated water or filtered water in areas at risk, which is the United States. Practice good hygiene and hand washing, especially after toilet use and animal contact. Like I say, witch hazel wipes work very good. You got to watch some of those other wipes and some of those other hand sanitizers, because they kill the friendly good bacteria and strip the acid layer from your skin. And now you are actually open for more toxins. Wash fruits and vegetables well. You can wash them with baking soda and vinegar and just rub them gently and let them sit in there for a while and then rinse them off. Avoid swallowing water in the swimming pools, lakes, and rivers and pools. Yeah, I don't know about that one. You got to be really, make sure you're really, because it's on your skin. So I think we should take a little break for a while. But if you have to do it, make sure that you rub your body down with lavender oil. So you can take lavender oil and coconut oil and mix those together and rub your body with that before you jump in these pools. Because I know some folks swim for life, for health. It's one of the best exercises. So I'm not trying to scare you and say don't do it. I'm saying that the mind first must prepare to go to war. You must prepare yourself to do your best in life. Preparation. Soda and vinegar in the toilet? I never heard about that one. I guess that could work, especially if it's tonic soda. Tonic water is actually good because it has quinine in it. Tonic water is very good. Okay, really quickly, we're going to go through this parasite, then we're going to end it up. Entomobia, histolytica, transmitted by the fecal oral route, usually through contaminated food or water, poor sanitation in crowded areas, animal to human contact, person to person contact. You got to be careful who you contacting, y'all, especially in household or institutions. Cysts are resistant to stomach acid and survive long enough to reach the intestines. And even if you hit this one with cloves and wormwood and black walnut and all of those things, it's not going to die because it just digs into the walls of the intestine when it knows you're coming to kill it. Parasites are very intelligent. Sometimes you get diarrhea or bloody mucus-filled diarrhea, abdominal cramps and pain, nausea, fatigue, dysentery, severe, that's when you're just toxic, dysentery, blood diarrhea with fever. In some cases, zeolites invade, I can't say it correctly, forgive me, beyond the intestine, causing extra intestinal disease. Liver abscesses, most common outside of the gut, known to spread to lungs and brain. Once it leaves the digestive tract, y'all, this is a superbug. Once it leaves the brain, it becomes a superbug. Once it leaves the brain, it becomes a superbug or systemic parasite. The parasite secretes enzymes, proteases, that dissolve tissues. Histolytica is a tissue dissolving parasite, y'all. This repeated tissue injury and regeneration creates opportunities for abnormal cell growth. Another word, abnormal cell growth is another word for cancer. Immune modulation. It makes your immune system work too much or not enough. E. histolytica can suppress certain immune responses, allowing it to persist. It can control your immune system. And I'd like you to look all this up. Please don't just, follow Dr. B. Go do your own research. Go do your own research. And search again and search again. And don't just look at the first few things that AI says or that, or that Google says. Go deep. Long-term immune dysregulation may reduce the body's ability to detect and destroy precancerous cells. What are we talking about? Did you know that this particular parasite has it can mimic cancer? So your body tries to attack it like cancer, but it's not cancer, but that is causing cancer because it's mimicking cancer. And cancer really is something that he can't really put a description on very well. This parasite creates tumors. The doctors may think that this is cancerous. and use the things they use on cancer, which actually weakens your system even more. And now histolytica goes deeper, deeper into the cells and creates now for real cancer. It fakes the doctors into using cancer medicines, whether it be chemotherapy or radiation or whatever they're using, hormone shifting, medicines. Now, all of a sudden, those things will weaken your system. Now, histolytica actually takes over and becomes cancer. It's a smart bug. Persistent histolytica, it can lead to chronic colitis. That means, let's just say your colon and your digestive tract is basically falling apart. Ulceration of the intestinal lining. Chronic inflammation is well established. The risk factor for cancer. Chronic inflammation is a well established risk factor for cancer, similar to ulcerative colitis and colon cancer. Inflammatory mediators. I'm going to get it together. Cyclocleans, nitric oxide, reactive oxygen species. I'm not even sure what that is, y'all. Damages DNA, promoting mutations. This thing will turn your cells into mutants. It will cause you to mutate. You've seen some people out here that are like mutants, haven't you? And those of you who are late, you can rewatch this and send this to your friends, and make sure you go watch class number 1. Go watch class number 1, because we talk about a whole nother aspect. We're going to go deep all this month into this issue of these parasites. Histolytica, you won't even hear much about it until you go look at it, because it will control the mindset and the frequency response of your body. Some research is that chronic infection can also act as a co-carcinogen, increasing susceptibility to colon or liver cancer when combined with other risk factors, poor diet, chemical exposures, hepatitis, and viruses. Wait a minute. Did it just say that other risk factors that will increase the susceptibility to it are chemical exposures? Did we just not, for many slides, show you all the chemical exposure that we are dealing with in our homes, in our environments, in our castles, in our space? That's why we have to look at this thing as the art of war. It is not simple. It's not just a couple herbs, y'all. It's a whole program. You got to change your rhythm, change your life. You got to let go of some attitudes and some vibrations, because when you change your attitude, you'll change your altitude. In order to rise higher, you just can't read some consciousness books and think that you're deep and be able to state a bunch of things that the ancients you think did or said. You've got to get into your whole life and look at everything, because holism is about everything, the whole body, the whole mind. This is why we created the Total Body Program. This one is for systemic parasite eradication, detoxification at a cellular level. Now helps eradicate physical, energetic, and non-physical parasites. Yes, there's non-physical parasites. They're like, you might call them demons or energies or attitudes or vibrations that you picked up from the environment or from other people or other dead situations that should be dead and gone, that are like ghosts. Toxoplasma is the one controlling the mindset, which will cause you to buy junk, date junk, hang out with junk, have junk and trashy conversations and trashy relationships, and always be talking about the problem and very seldom have a solution. Looking at the bloodiest and the goriest and the looking, all this thing about this sexualization is like the thing. That's toxoplasma. It's turning people into freaks, and people are freaking out. There used to be a song, freak out. What was that by? Freak out. People have fruck out. Fruck is a new word, the past tense of freaked. I just made that one. Actually, I made it a couple years ago. We got to be very careful, y'all. It's time to be aware. This helps you increase energy and vitality. Did I say toxoplasma and superbugs? It boosts the immune system, improves digestion, clear thought, peace of mind, and it enhances our overall health and wellness. That is the Elevated Total Body Program. Somebody says, Dr. B, is there a discount code? Yes, there's a discount code called, which is fall25. That discount code is fall25 at elevationtime.com. If you would like to invest in something where you're investing in your life and you are now creating a new environment. Now you become winners. Now you put yourself in the winner's circle, because a lot of these superbugs you cannot use with a simple herbal formula. It has to be a graduated alchemical process using elixirs and tonics, herbs. We're using essential oils, flower essences. We're using light frequencies. We're using sound, even minerals. You need high doses of minerals to detoxify, and detoxify is going to weaken your system too. People always talk about, I'm doing a cleanse. And I said, what are you doing for nutrition? You need these micronutrients. All that's in the program. There is one called the Total Body Program. The difference is that this program works very well. It's on sale also, but it doesn't deal with superbugs. It deals with systemic parasites, but not systemic superbugs. No, iron does not come in this bundle. Iron is separate. Iron is separate. Somebody said, quit the junk foods. Well, a whole lot of vegan foods are junk too. You got junk vegans, junk food vegans now. I mean, some of this stuff, if you look at the ingredients that make that burger or make that piece of chicken, or some of these snacks, this is all made in the same factory. It's plant-based, based in a plant, made in a plant, not the growing plant, the industrial plant. Plant-based can mean anything. Organic can mean anything. Natural can mean anything. So this program is very good for dealing with systemic parasites. If you'd like to deal with the superbugs like toxoplasma and many of the other ones, then we go to the Elevated Total Body Program. Also, this one deals with what we call spiritual parasites and mental parasites. They're both very good. This is the original program, and then we created the Elevated Total Body Program when we began to research and realize how deep this problem is. So there is a solution. It's a 28-day program. You cannot get rid of these superbugs and most of this stuff in, 2 weeks or a week or a weekend. It takes 28 days, which is a biorhythm. That is your rhythm. Now the month is really 29.7, I think, days. But your biorhythm is based on a 28-day cycle based on the woman's womb. So this works in a biorhythm. You've got to change their feeding cycle. You've got to change their mating cycle. You've got to, make sure that you're interrupting the way they live in that biocycle. Okay. At the same time, we're cleaning up the home. If you don't clean up the home, then you are breathing in toxins, rubbing on toxins, bathing in toxins, loving with toxins. You heard what that said? And if you're in a relationship and the person that you're intimate with is not doing a cleanse, you got to shut off the oven for a little while, shut down for a while, because you're going to have what? Cross-contamination. This is one of the best elevated programs there is. I don't even know of any other systemic cleanses out there. I don't even hear people talking about systemic parasites. They're talking about colon parasites, digestive parasites, and those herbs and things you're using for that, keep using them. They're good, most of them. What we're dealing with here is the super bugs. And if you're mating with somebody and dating with somebody, sleeping, you ain't even got to be sleeping. It could be awakening with somebody who has these parasites, and you're on the cleanse, but you're feeding with them, you're eating with them, you're mating with them, you're kissing with them. There's cross-contamination. So the bugs will leave your body, go to their body, and wait a little while. Wait till the 28 days is up, because they know how to watch the watch. They've got a natural magnetosphere or what they call a timing or magnetite in their bodies, which lets them know what time it is. Yes, this thing is deep. And they know after 28 days to come back and you'll be clean and clear. And for superbugs, somebody asked me once, they said, well, Dr. B, my cleanse, I mean, I bought this stuff for $7.99. I said, well, that kills the weak bugs, but it makes the strong bugs stronger. Most of the cleansers out there kills the weak bugs, the easy bugs, which are the digestive ones, but it makes the super bugs stronger. And those herbs cannot reach those organs with enough efficiency and enough frequency. This is something I studied that is deep, y'all. Okay? This is the deepest thing there is. What is controlling us? Ourselves. We are the enemy. We are the aliens. There's alien creatures living inside you on little planets. They got little moons. You got whole universes inside your body. You are like a unit. You are a universe. So we got to stop looking out of us for the problem. We got to stop saying they and them, they did it. First, you got to start at home, because the art of war starts at home with you creating a winner's circle, a winner's cipher in yourself. You got to build up the fortress. Some of us got viruses, and we know it. In fact, most people got viruses from the virus that they, the pandemic. Even if you didn't take the jabbers, you may have, got this stuff through shedding. They say it went through the whole society of people who live in populated areas. So we've got something called X factor. These powerful herbs have been traditionally used to eradicate and disorganize viruses. Some viruses you can't get rid of, but you can disorganize them. This facilitates deep cellular detoxification and purification, enhances immune function significantly, and is part of a healing program to reduce abnormal cell growth activity. I said earlier what abnormal cell growth was. This is not in the cleanse. This is a separate product that you would choose as an add-on. Okay? X factor. X deals with unknown things that are not parasitic, but they are affecting your system. Go to elevationtime.com. Elevationtime.com is where you can go. There are many products there that can help you, change your life, elevate your life. There's packages there also where you can get a lot of the different products that we have all in one. Okay? So be careful, be focused. Remember, be yourself. Live, and remember the art of war. You got to know yourself and know your enemy to truly live. Take care. Travel light. I know this was a lot of stuff today. Go throw a lot of stuff out. And there's only 3 cleaners you need for your house. Vinegar. What was it? Borax and vinegar, borax, baking soda. You can also use hydrogen peroxide. That's some of the best cleaners. They will never hurt you. And for your windows, vinegar. You can use these products for your floors, for your tubs and everything. They're non-toxic cleaning products. And for your body, go find natural products that have no chemicals at all. They're everywhere. It's not hard to find them. Don't let your parasitic mind lie to you and tell you that it's hard to find this stuff. You just need to become aware. Don't let the parasites control your mind. The discount code is fall25, fall25. You'll get 10% off of everything in your cart over $99, and that's until Sunday at midnight. Thank you very much. Travel Light, you've been a beautiful class. Have you? I don't know. Somebody was in there saying some disagreeable stuff. Most of you have been non-parasitic in the chat and helpful. We'll see you again next week for class number 2. If you didn't check out class number 1, go online now, join and be subscribed to our YouTube channel. Also, you can find Dr. Be Serious on all platforms right now. If you'd like to, check out what we're doing. We're not looking for followers. We're looking for leaders. It's time to wake up. This is the time to rise this fall. Thank you very much. Much love to you all. I'll see you again next week. I allow myself to be my best self.